Are you a beginner who wants to learn Madhubani painting from scratch? Well, you have landed at the right place. Now, to watch the same episode in Hindi, you can check the link in the description box below. So before we begin, I would like to summarize what are we going to do today. Today we are going to learn how to sketch the motifs in the easiest way possible. All the basic motifs needed for Madhubani painting to start it, you need to know how to sketch it. That is the basic. So I will give you some tips and tricks which makes it very easy for you. In the end, we will also see how to color those motifs, different ways of coloring. So without further ado, let's begin. And the topic for today's session is flora and fauna. That means we are going to learn how to sketch flowers, leaves, branches, which is one very essential part of Madhubani painting. Every painting that you see has a lot of flora and fauna. So we are going to learn how to sketch them. So let's begin finally. So we begin with the flowers first. So I'll show you very simply how to make a flower. So just a cross on the paper and just connect all the ends with using a curve and just doing the double lines. So this is the first motif, the easiest way to make a flower in Madhubani style. The second, we'll use the same cross but little differently. First we do the two circles, concentric circles in the center. Again make a cross now. Now on the cross try to create a leaf-like pattern. So we did this and then connect in between these two leaves with curves. So this is the second flower that we could do. So we move on to the third one. Again the concentric circles in the middle. Now you see I'm just drawing lines. So try to keep the size of the line equal on every end. So in between I just drew and then connecting these lines with curves to make it look like a flower. So this is again the third type of flower that you can make very easily freehand in Madhubani style. As it is a folk art, it is supposed to be freehand. So these were the tricks and techniques that the women used so that they don't make mistake when they are directly painting it. So as you see, I'm going to use the same flower but a different technique which gives it completely different look. So as you see, before we connected it with curves and here we are doing just like a heart shape, a little random line to connect it. So this was the fourth way. Now just look at the third and we are going to do similarly, just making it in a halfway pattern. So it looks like a sun right now and we are just going to connect it again with the curves. So very easy way to make such floral patterns without making any mistake when you're directly drawing it with a pen. So this is the fifth way. So these are the 5 ways that we learned. So we move on now to the 6th way. So again the concentric circles, one circle inside another circle, again on the 4 corners lines and then making it like a sun and now connecting those lines with triangles. So this is, earlier we did it with curves, this one with triangles. So you may have noticed that Madhubani painting has a lot of geometry in it, a lot of geometric patterns are used. So this is how we can do it flawlessly without making any mistakes and directly drawing it on paper. So we are doing the same, the 6th design that you see on the paper, but we are making it a little bit more intricate, making more and more triangles here. So we did the same thing, we just created one more line in between the 2 consecutive lines that we had made. So making it more intricate. So it looks like a star basically, if you see the 7th one. Now moving on to the 8th one. So make a note of this. This flower is going to be looking like a lotus flower. So I made a semicircle, found a center and first draw just like a leaf-like pattern to make it a petal of the lotus. And now move on to the one side, the right hand side and try to create the other petals. And similarly repeat the same on the other side. So this is how we do it. And down just a curve shaped in a triangle to make the below part and the branches. So just shading a little bit, creating a look. So this is one type of flower that you can make. That's a lotus, which is very commonly used as it has a great significance in Madhubani. It is a symbol of fertility. So Madhubani, you might have seen a lot of lotus motif used. So now we move on to the next flower, which is, I started with a semicircle with a double line and then random petals. They don't have particularly a shape. It's like more like a, if you have seen a hibiscus flower, very random shaped. Or you can make it like proper circles, semicircles if you want. I just shaded it in between. So moving on to the next, I'm going to show you here two different types of tiny flowers. Now these flowers, if you may have noticed, are used basically inside the body of a motif. Or for example, if you are making a girl and you have a dupatta or a scarf, so you use these motifs to decorate inside. So these are the two motifs that we use for that purpose. Now, as we made flowers, we have to definitely make branches and leaves to connect them or to give it a look or to the background. So now you know that Madhubani painting is very intricate. Most of the times it is covered with intricate patterns. Flora and fauna can be found a lot in the motifs. So now for the branches, you see there is one variation where I moved my hands in a flow and created the branches. This is the simplest way to do it. And I'm just trying to create those parallel lines inside the branches. Once you fill it with black color, as you see here, it looks amazing. So this is how you do it. You just try to fill it with the black color or brown color maybe, or any other color depending on the design or the painting you are creating. So this is how you do it. So you fill all entirely with the color. The next type of branch, we are going to just make it in a curve. So twist it on the one side. Now take the curve other side and twist it again. So this is one type and this is the other type. So these are the two types of branches that you can easily create to fill your background with, along with the beautiful flowers that we learned to make. So these are the two types of branches. Again, now branches are incomplete without the leaves. So I'll show you exactly how many types of leaves can you make. So one leaf is just creating a leaf and a line center to divide it. The second one, you do the leaf, divide the center, make it a little darker and try to use those fine lines to fill on both the sides. So as you see here, so this is the second type. Now just similarly like 1 and 2, we will create the leaf just like we did before. And again divide it in the center and just use those fine lines on one side. Now the other side, either you fill in color or you can just leave it white, just the original color of the paper. So now we move on to the fourth type that we can do. So in the center you see I just made a double line. So once we fill in colors, those double lines will highlight it. For the fifth one, we completely fill it with those fine lines. So these are 5 different types of leaves and 2 different types of branches that you can make. So now we start with coloring, and for coloring I'm using red for flower number 1, the design 1 that we created, and red I'm using in 2 petals because the remaining 2 I'm going to fill it with contrasting yellow. So this is one way to fill in colors. You can use just red for the flower number 9, the design 9 that we have created. So in this case, what the interesting thing is that the petal in between the 2 blank petals where we are filling color right now is filled with a pattern. That is how, a look is created. That is how it looks nice and interesting. So as we saw in number 1, we filled with 2 different colors. In number 9, we have a pattern that is created between 2 petals. Now for number 3, I am just going to use the same that we did for number 1, for design number 1. So this is again using the same 2 contrasting colors, yellow and red, for every alternate petals. So as you see, and this was only possible because we created the motif with a trick, with some geometry. So the number of petals were even. So this helps us to give this contrasting look, as you see here. And we can do the same for number 4, if you repeat. And now I'll show you if we use just one color. So for number 5, design number 5, I'm just going to use one color. That also looks very beautiful, and with the double line, the motif is completely highlighted. So this is another trick, another way to color a flower in Madhubani style. So now we switch to the lotus that we created, the number 8. So I'll show you 2 ways to do it. So first one is we divide the top of the petal with double line, and then the top we just create some patterns, some fine lines, and the bottom fill it with color. So this is one way to do it, as you see, and the other way would be to completely fill the petal with colors. So these are 2 ways how you can color a lotus in Madhubani style. So these are 2 ways to color, one completely filling with color and the other half with pattern, or say a part with pattern and a part with color. Now we move on to the leaves and the branches, and I'm going to use the green color. So number 1, I'm going to just fill the half with green and the rest remains white. For number 4, I am going to fill it with green completely. The middle part highlights the green, which we left blank, which we tried to create by using a double line. So here again I'm showing you number 4. If we do it in a bunch, if you try to make a background out of this type of design, this is how it's going to look like. This is how it creates that very nice effect when you use the design number 4 of the leaves on a branch. And this in between the highlight of this white, which is created by the double line, gives a look. Now for number 3, I'm going to show you. So this fine lines can be done either side. Either you do it on the left or right, doesn't matter. And the other half is going to be filled with green color. So I'm going to show you now design number 3, how it looks like on a branch. So this design actually you can use for the background. Whenever you are making a background in Madhubani style, it is most of the time filled with a lot of floral patterns. Flora and fauna is our theme today. That is what we are trying to learn today. So this is, guys, how it looks like, and these are different ways to color the leaves. Please let me know in the comment section below, how did you like this session? And we'll see you again in the next session, where we will cover some other topic and we'll try to learn to create some different motifs. So this was absolutely for the beginners who want to learn this art from the scratch and who would like to try their hands on Madhubani painting. So see you soon. Please give me a thumbs up for this video if you like it, and do write to me in the comment section. Stay in touch. Bye. Have a great weekend.